My name is Big Mike, and this is Attorney Sidney.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Attorney Sidney, how are you?
Good.
Good. This is Venerable Injury Laws podcast on that $1,000,000 question that everyone asks when they get into an accident. And that question is, will I get $1,000,000 too? Have you heard about that? Or you ever thought about that, Sidney?
All the time.
Let me tell
I
you,
get that.
I hear that on radio stations. I see it on TV commercials. And I always hear attorneys claiming that they get millions of dollars on auto accidents. Will I get $1,000,000 too?
That question is posed all the time from my clients, from our Instagram, TikTok posters, asking about what their claims are worth. Now, partly I blame that on attorneys who advertise their past claims on an aggregate, how much they have able to recover. Now, not all cases get millions of dollars, unfortunately. Otherwise, we wouldn't have an insurance. So many insurance claims are filed every year on auto accidents, and most of the cases do not pay out millions of dollars. But by claiming that in the past and in aggregate, other attorneys got millions of dollars, has no reference, or has to do with your own case.
Sidney, sorry to cut you off there. You've used this word twice, and I'm not familiar with it. You say aggregate. What does that mean, aggregate?
In total. How much they got. Right, because they add up all the claims they had in the past with other clients, and then they advertise that particular number to say it has any relevance whatsoever to your claim. It has nothing to do with that. Your claims are independently evaluated. Your injuries are separate from any others, unlike any other. So it doesn't mean that you're going to get $1,000,000 just because you had an accident.
Yeah, okay. And what determines the value of an accident?
Right. That discussion is actually quite lengthy, so I'm going to try to break it down to a few segments.
Please.
Today, we're going to talk about something called coverage.
Okay.
Coverage is important, and coverage talks about insurance. Now, first of all, accident has to be determined that it's not your fault. Liability determination is important for you to recover. For you to recover anything from an accident, you have to be not liable for that accident.
Meaning not responsible.
Yes, not responsible for the accident. Okay. The other side has to be found to be at fault for that accident for you to recover under the policy, liability policy.
Okay.
Now, when I talk about coverages, we are running another segment on our podcast on talking about different coverages, but we're talking about a liability coverage of the other party.
Okay.
The other side who basically hit you has a liability coverage, and we need to find out what the coverage is. Unfortunately, oftentimes the liability coverage is minimum if you're got into an auto accident with an individual driver that's not commercial insurance, or somebody who basically has a higher coverage than minimum. Minimum coverage in California is $15,000 per person.
$15,000?
That's been over 30 years determined.
What is that going to cover?
Exactly. So that's regardless of how serious your accident is.
Wow.
The other side carries $15,000 policy. That means is that the other insurance only will pay up to $15,000 for your accident. Now, there's a possibility of going after the other person personally for their personal assets, but that's very difficult.
Wow. That's a big difference than $1,000,000.
Absolutely. So to say that, they got millions of dollars in the past from other accident cases is not relevant to your claim. We have to first find out what the other person's coverage is to figure out potentially how much you can recover from this accident that was not your fault.
I see. Okay.
And to add to that, there are other things you have to consider, such as injuries and your own policies. And there's something also, term of the art called popping the policy. There are situations, even if the other side had a $15,000 coverage, maybe a situation where they will be liable, meaning insurance company of the other driver will be liable for more than $15,000. But like I said, it's a lengthy discussion, and I think we should separate these, many different issues regarding coverages into different podcasts.
Well, thank you for that explanation. I appreciate that. And we definitely will look forward to your future segments on breaking this down for us, because we have followers that really need your assistance when it comes to learning about their policy.
Right. I think, we try to keep it, as realistic as possible. Most importantly, when there's a case of an accident, obviously getting compensation is important, but getting your health back, I think, getting the real care, from the medical experts that, the insurance will pay for is very important. So you need to focus on recovery, getting real care, and also focus on getting real assessment, not hocus pocus or not puffery of saying, I got so much money from the insurance company for other people, so I could get you millions of dollars. I don't think that's truthful. In all honesty, you want to hear the real facts regarding your case and what's potentially possible for your case.
Right. Well, thank you very much for being transparent with us. We look forward to your future podcasts.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. And to our followers out there, please be sure you tune in next week and to our future podcasts. We're always out here trying to help you guys out. Shoot us an email. Contact us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. We're here for you guys. What if I can get $1 million too?
That's it off.
All right.